What I've learned over the years is when you allow everyone that opportunity to speak their mind and you make it safe so they feel like they can contribute, and especially you're pulling those shy introverts out and enabling them to speak with confidence. By having everyone at the table and contributing to the conversation and the shared goal, creating that shared goal, you just move the organization so much more quickly, you problem solve more creatively, and people feel like they're just part of something bigger than themselves.
You just heard from Terri Lundberg, my guest this week on Leadership Magnified. I'm Todd Faulkner. Thanks for listening. Terri is founder of Wiser 360, as she describes it, a unique blend of 8 all-female subject matter experts, all their own business owners, who collaborate on varying projects for their clients. Terri is also an executive coach and an expert in leadership. I think you're really going to like this one. Here's my conversation. Welcome to Leadership Magnified, Terri Lundberg. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for asking. It's a topic that I am super passionate about.
Before we get to it, people who don't know you, where you from, family, go for it. Introduce yourself.
Terri Lundberg. I am from Northeast Ohio, and my husband and I moved here in the early 90s. And when I moved here, I was teaching group fitness, running a business of my own on the West Coast, and started to raise our family here.
Okay. Um, let's jump into Wiser 360. What is it? I know that's a simple question, probably a lengthy answer, but what is Wiser 360?
Wiser 360 is a unique blend of 8 all female subject matter experts. And we come together to support each other. We're all our own business owners, yet we each have our own lane. And we work collaboratively on different projects. So if one of us has a company and there's a hole in the need, we have 7 other people that we can call to come in on that project. So what we do is we can trust each other to deliver high quality services. I know that if I call a colleague that's part of Wiser 360, they're going to deliver what they said they would early before they're going to deliver early before the deadline, and they're going to bring their A game every time. So these are females that I've gotten a chance to know in my professional career over the last 10 or 15 years. And when I got started in starting my own company, Wiser 360, I'm a collaborative person. So I got to be thinking, I see these other strong females in our community running their own business in different areas. And I thought, man, how can we work together? So I had the idea that if we come together, still owning our own business, yet supporting each other on different projects for organizations, how great would that be? And so we had a meeting and everybody was excited about it. And it's just been such a blessing. And the biggest blessing of all, we meet once a month, and you've heard iron sharpens iron. And when we get together, it is magic. We'll call each out on some things that maybe we need to hear that nobody else would tell us. If we're having a hard family situation or a hard client situation, we're able to share knowledge and support each other.
You talk about the inspiration. So was this like a long time thing coming, or was it just a brainchild and you just kept thinking about it and thinking about it?
Yeah, it wasn't a long time inspiration. Actually, I get some of my best ideas when I'm biking or running. And I was out on the Greenway Trail and thinking about my business. And I just thought about these other women that I've watched do the same thing. And I thought, I don't want us to feel like we're competing against each other.
Mhm.
How can we work together? And that's when I had the idea.
So who is the ideal entity that you're helping, if that's the right question?
Sure. So me personally, I'm the leadership expert of the group. So I help executives who feel like they're out there on a desert island and don't have a confidential person outside the organization that they can talk with that's going to be really honest with them. I'm not going to tell them something that they just want to hear. So we talk through some high level situations with my CEO clients or organizations that have change management that they need or a problem they need to overcome. Maybe they have new promotions that they need some leadership training. So those type of organizations that we help.
How would you, let's switch gears a little bit. I mean, in the same vein, but how would you describe your leadership style if you have
Hmm.
one?
I definitely have a leadership style, and that's evolved. Interestingly, I ran Lundberg Medical Imaging for over 10 years, and unexpectedly, I ended up in that CEO role, and you just jump in and you do what you know, do what you've been taught. When I resigned from running that company after we sold it, I ran it for 2 years. When I resigned, I went back to school, and I got my master's degree in human development leadership.
Oh, wow.
So I wish I'd done that sooner because there is so much research behind different leadership styles, what motivates people. So I learned a lot through that. And I've said so many times, I wish I would have known then what I know now. I would do leadership a little bit differently.
Mhm.
Having said all that, I would say I am more of a transformational leader. I see things in people and I want to help them grow. I want to inspire them to be better tomorrow than they were today. I want to demonstrate ethical and moral character. That's something a transformational leader does. I want to inspire them to be motivated and find purpose in their work. So, especially at this stage in my career, meaningful work is what I strongly believe in.
What missteps do you see in young leaders?
Hmm.
No matter the organization, it could be a school, a business, a church. What do you see young leaders who are really eager to be the leader? What mistakes do you see them make?
I think the young leaders that are just starting out, they try to accomplish it on their own and they're afraid to ask for help because they don't want to appear weak. So they're going to try to do too much. They're going to have trouble delegating. And there's probably not a worse way to shut someone down than you hold all the work to yourself and you don't help others grow and stretch. So by not delegating, you're really shutting down your organization and you're limiting the productivity and certainly the engagement that you can get out of your people.
Has there been, and you kind of touched on this, that you wish you would have known now, or then what you know now? Is there anything that stands out? Any one character trait or flaw where you said, I really shouldn't have done X?
There are a couple different things I think that are important. The first thing is communication is not one size fits all. You need to talk to different people in your organization differently because they have a different personality and they receive the message maybe differently than you intended. So I would handle that a little bit differently. The other thing that I really wish I would have done differently is engage them more by inviting all voices to the table. I call it hugging the porcupine. What I've learned over the years is when you allow everyone that opportunity to speak their mind and you make it safe so they feel like they can contribute, and especially you're pulling those shy introverts out and enabling them to speak with confidence. By having everyone at the table and contributing to the conversation and the shared goal, creating that shared goal, you just move the organization so much more quickly. You problem solve more creatively, and people feel like they're just part of something bigger than themselves.
I really connect with the communication. That's something I've learned, that the way I talk to one person to try to motivate them to do something is totally different from the person sitting right next to them. And that took me years to figure that out.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you just you talk about that.
Right. And the rules of engagement have changed. So if an organization's leader is using old style command and tell leadership, you are not going to get traction with the millennials, the Gen Z generations. I'm teaching this to organizations now. We've got to figure out how to get everyone to the table. The Gen Zs, they want to feel like they are part of something. We all want to have meaningful work, but especially the Gen Zs. They want to have autonomy, they want to have close guidance, but they want to feel like they're well aligned with their values, with that of the company, and they're contributing to something that matters.
And really, I guess that would fall on the leader to your point,
Mhm.
learn about that and make that mind shift, or shift that way of thinking, which would be hard on the leader. Not to
Sure.
play
Yeah.
a pity party, but
Yeah.
it'd be difficult for the leader. So what's your advice to kind of to a leader to, get on board with maybe a new way of thinking?
I want to encourage all leaders to have a growth mindset. If you have an open mind, the research backs this up. You can learn new skills, you can increase your intelligence. So, by having that open mind, especially to what others bring to the table, that's really what you want to be, that type of leader to inspire others and trust them with what they come to the table with. They have a different lived experience. So, by having a multi lens view, leaders can really bring just a deep, rich, highly dimensional solution to the table with their organization.
Who's been influential in your life, as maybe
Mm.
personally or as a leader or somewhere in between?
I've had several over the years. My very first experience was with a volleyball coach, and I tried out for volleyball, got cut, and out of 12 positions, he called me that night and he made a 13th position.
Oh, well.
And what I learned from that was he saw potential. So even if you're not part of something, one of the top 12, and you think about organizations, when you see potential in someone, that's a diamond in the rough. And as a leader, if you can inspire them and motivate them to come out of their shell and grow and stretch, I learned that from Tom Priestley a long time ago.
That's a good lesson. That's a good life lesson.
And then someone here in the community that we all know, Dr. Anton Reese,
Mhm.
he inspires me. He's unstoppable. His energy, his enthusiasm, and he does it with composure. And I really admire his leadership style.
Yeah, he's been a guest
Oh,
on
I
this
can't wait to
podcast.
see that.
We've covered kind of what I want to cover. We try to keep these podcasts a little shorter so people can listen to them like on the way into work or whether getting ready for work or whatever. Um, Pull back the curtain a little bit. What do you do to relax?
Well, it's typically something active,
Hmm.
running, road cycling. I don't go out if it's over 60 degrees on my bike, so I'll do some spin. I love gardening. So those kind of things, something active.
Okay. Last question? Is there anything you're watching or reading that really has your interest right now?
So some of the things that I've been diving into are women in leadership.
Okay.
My colleague and I started something for accomplished female executives called She Leads. And it is a cohort model where it's limited to 8 to 10 women. And we meet every other week for 3 months. And just like the magic that Wiser 360 has, 8 women coming together in a confidential, trusted circle, we're creating that with women in Western Kentucky. And that is really inspiring me. So I've been reading quite a bit about that to make sure that we lead those women in these small cohorts to come together and just create this strong force of accomplished women leaders in Western Kentucky.
Okay. We'll leave it there. Terry, thanks.
Thank you so much, Todd.
And that's it. Thanks for listening this week. If you liked it, tell a friend, share it on social media. Video and sound by Bryce Patterson, editing by Brian Clapp. Until next week, stay safe, friends.